Welcome to Ifa Stories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred world of Ifa, the Yoruba spiritual system, where every tale carries the power of divination, destiny, and deep cultural insight. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Orishas, the divine forces guiding our paths, Orunmila, the Iron Moles, and many more. Each story is a bridge between the past and the present, weaving timeless lessons that inspire, enlighten, and transform. Embrace the wisdom, honor the tradition, and journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe now and let the stories guide you. The second wife of Eje Parrot. He cast divination for the Rooster and for the Parrot. When both were searching for wives to marry, they were advised to offer a male goat to Isu, so that their habit of defecating in their sleeping quarters would not deprive them of the honor of marrying respectable wives. Both argued that the sacrifice was unnecessary since, for them, it was a tradition to relieve themselves wherever they slept. There was also a beautiful maiden who came to him, seeking divination on how to find a respectable husband to marry. She was advised to make a sacrifice to avoid the misfortune of going through 2 failed marriages before achieving stability in a third. She considered the sacrifice unnecessary, thinking that her charm and natural intelligence would be enough to overcome any difficulty. Soon after, she met the Rooster, who was very handsome. She immediately fell in love with him and accepted his marriage proposal. Without delay, she moved into his home. Thus, a couple who had both refused to make sacrifices were united, defying the recommendation of an Ifa priest. The next morning, the bride discovered that her husband had soiled their bed with feces. The woman was deeply upset. Immediately, people began to ridicule her for marrying someone who defecated in bed. She could not bear the shame and therefore abandoned the Rooster as quickly as she had married him. Some time later, she met the Parrot, another good-looking individual. Once again, she fell in love with him and accepted his marriage proposal. When she prepared the first meal, the Parrot told her they had to eat their food separately. Curious, she wanted to know why her husband imposed such a restriction. When she prepared corn for the Parrot, he only ate the soft part of the grain and discarded the rest. The leftovers piled up all over the room. On the next occasion, after serving him a meal, she hid to observe her husband's eating habits. She then saw that he was eating with his feet, scattering food scraps all around. When she later confronted him to ask why he scattered food everywhere, the Parrot replied that life was too short for him to eat the husks of any food. When asked why he ate with his feet, he explained that it was the custom of his people. Once again, she found the situation unbearable and, for the second time, left her husband. The Ifa priest's prediction had quickly come to pass. At this point, she decided to go for divination again. She was told to offer a male goat to Isu and a ram to the Ifa of her father. She gave the male goat to Isu, but could not afford to buy a ram for Ifa. She had been told that, to find stability, she would have to marry a priest of Ifa. Around the same time, Ejiko had a dream that he was going to have a second wife. He consulted Ifa, and his own Odu appeared. He then invited his deputies, Uroke and Orofa, to interpret its meaning. They told him that a woman was coming to him, and that she was a princess. He was told to offer a male goat to Isu and a ram to Ifa. He performed the sacrifices the next day. Coincidentally, the princess had left her father's house in an unknown direction to consult 2 awos named Elemo Ugo and Sora Ugomugo. She had set out carrying a sack containing Eko, Akara, Ekru Aro, and Adun. Just before reaching the town of Itoko, where Ejo lived, she felt the urge to relieve herself. Unknowingly, she defecated on a patient boa lying on the ground, and the leaf she used to clean her anus landed on a snail nearby. After relieving herself, she continued on her way. The 2 awos had gone to visit Ejikoko. Upon her arrival in the town of Atoko, she heard the awos casting divination, striking the sacred knife, Aja in Yoruba and Aza in Benin, and chanting incantations. She took out her sack to eat the food it contained. Just as she began eating, Esu stretched his hands toward her, and all the food she was swallowing got stuck in her throat. As she began to choke, she ran into Ejiko's house seeking help. Once inside, she gestured for water. They gave her water in Ifa's cup, and Azu quickly withdrew his hands from her throat, instantly relieving her. She was then gestured to sit down. Grateful, she bowed her head to the ground to greet Ifa. They cast divination for her and told her that she was a princess. They also said that she had experienced 2 failed marriages and was preparing for a third. They told her that her father had his own Ifa, to which she had previously been advised to offer a ram in divination, but had not done so. They told her she had made a sacrifice to Esu, but not to Ifa, and she confirmed the revelations. They insisted that she still had to serve Ifa with a ram before she could settle down. She was also told that she had defecated in the forest by the roadside, shortly before reaching Atoko. They revealed that the illness she had suffered before entering the house was because Runmila was already angry with her for defecating on the boa that was meant to be used in his service, and for covering the snail meant to calm her life with the leaves she had used to clean herself. She had not known about these revelations, but offered to show the Awos the place where she had relieved herself. When they reached the spot, they saw that the boa was still lying under the excrement she had deposited, and not far off, a snail was under the leaves she had used to clean herself. Both were brought to the house to serve Ifa. Before the food used for the sacrifice was even cooked, night had already fallen. The princess was given pounded yam. Later, she joined Ejiko to perform the ritual of serving his head with the boa. She spent the night with Ejiko. Shortly afterward, she stopped menstruating and became pregnant. She gave birth to a girl who was named Ayo. When this Odu appears for a single woman in divination, she should be told to make a sacrifice so that she does not marry twice before finding stability in a third marriage. If the woman is already married, she should be told that she is in the house of her third husband or is preparing to go there, but she must still make a sacrifice.